Hello and welcome to the Kerry Garden Show. Alan Finn here in Boyles of Killorglin, and I'm just looking at some bulbs because I'm told by Trish and Jer that that's what the show is going to be about. I have a funny feeling though, I'm looking at the wrong bulbs, so I better head out to the garden centre and see if I can find them. So we're here in Boyles of Killorglin yet again, and we are standing behind a beautiful selection of our main topic this afternoon. And it's not Trish,
no,
it's bulbs! Trish and Jer, you're very welcome to the show. Great to see you. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good, Alan, can't complain.
Good stuff. And it is literally, we're going to be talking about the bulbs.
We are.
Quite a bit. We're
yes.
surrounded by them and they look fantastic. But Jer, you want us to kind of start because it's a very, very important time for the grass in everyone's garden at the moment, and you said there's a short window that people need to be aware of.
Yeah, so like from now to the end of September is the best time to get out any artificial on the lawn to get it looking green for the winter. If you leave it too late, if you leave it into October, you know, we are getting at that risk of frosty weather again. So it kind of has to go on September when the temperatures are up. So we've two products that can go out this time of the year. We've the Moss Master, which we would have talked about back in the spring. That can go out again during September. That'll keep your moss at bay for the winter. Mm-hmm. And we have an ACL Landscape Pro as well. It's an autumn winter. Both of these products as well, they're not going to drive on the grass. They have a little bit of nitrogen to green it up, but they're especially the Landscape Pro. That is high in potash and phosphorus and a bit of magnesium as well. And what that does is it forces it encourages more rooting for the grass.
Okay.
So again, it's the same principles as putting out the spring one. Put it out, try and put it out with a spreader because you get an even spread. Mm-hmm. Especially if you have a yellow patch of grass, it will green it up within the next few weeks. Has to go out before a little bit of rain as well. I know that the last week has
We've
been
had a good
quite
dry week, to be fair. Yeah, it's been good, yeah.
I know there has been it looks like there is a bit of rain in the forecast. Mm-hmm. So the night before you get the rain, put it out, and again, definitely has to be done by the end of September. You might get away with the first 2 weeks of October.
Yeah, depending on how mild things are
the
going to be.
later you leave it, the more risk it is of burning the grass.
And it is actually one of the best times of the year to put down the fertiliser, because what Jer was saying, it strengthens up the root. Because you get very wet and very cold, at least if the roots are good and strong in the grass will survive better over the winter time.
And is it a good time to even put down grass seed if you were kind of anything like that? It's a good time, because I've noticed my grass has really come on so green. It's a lovely rich green. The weather's been
over
great.
the last few weeks. We've had a lot of moisture. We have had moisture and the heat as well. Mm-hmm. So lawns are lush and green. But anything that's struggling, I would get it out.
Okay.
But grass seed, it's definitely the best time of the year. If you have to reseed a bit of lawn, spray it off now and try and get that done by the end of September as well. Soil temperatures this time of the year are they're very ideal.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nearly better to do it now than to do it in March, April. It was a disaster this year to do it in March, April.
Because it was so dry.
It was so dry, and then we got the wet, and there was cold. It just didn't work out very well, and the weeds germinate before the grass comes up.
Okay.
So you look at a lot of farmers now this time of the year, they're all receding, and again that's because soil temperatures are quite good.
And keeping the moss out of the grass is a big thing as well.
Like everybody thinks, once you throw one bag of stuff out in the lawn, you'll get rid of the moss forever. But there's always a problem why the moss is there, so you need to rectify it, whether it's shaded or whether it's very compact or very wet. Mm-hmm. So you need to rectify them problems. But as Jer was saying then, the Moss Master is the thing to
I suppose the last thing as well with moss thrives in wet ground, so it'd be no harm to start raising, or you don't cut it too bare now.
If you are actually cutting grass,
start rising it again.
Okay.
So come October, November, you're kind of near enough to the highest setting in the llama.
Okay, excellent. Right, we don't have a large meadow. Okay, well that's brilliant. Great advice for the lawns going forward. And now it's time to talk about the beautiful colour and the bulbs. Yes. We've had a few people onto us, obviously, over the last few weeks, trying to get in a bit early, but now is just about the right time to start talking about them.
Now is the time. Usually with bulbs, you'd be planting, say, between September up until about the end of October. Mm-hmm. Again, now, it's always in the springtime when the daffodils come out in flower and the tulips. They'll come in and they'll go, how can I buy them? Now, you can buy them in pots that time of the year, but the cheaper option is to plant them this time of the year now. I suppose one of the things is people ask when they're planting bulbs, how do I plant them, or how deep down, or whatever. So usually a bulb, whatever size the bulb is, go down twice the depth of that.
Okay, so twice the
depth of the size of the bulb. So if you got the likes of snowdrop bulbs, they're tiny, and a daffodil bulb is a nice big chunky bulb.
One,
So twice the depth would be the general rule of thumb.
Right.
Like that, I suppose soil conditions. Then bulbs don't like to be sitting in wet conditions.
Yes, because they'll only rot over the winter.
They'll only rot, exactly. So put them in a well-drained, and even if your soil is kind of heavy, just even get some grit and mix it in through the ground.
Yeah.
And also as well, put in some slow-release fertiliser.
Right.
And that'll give them nutrition then over the winter months, and the bulb will be bigger then by the time it flowers.
And would it be a good idea, Jer, before you do all that, to maybe even just dig down and turn over the soil?
No,
Or just to put in and think, nothing?
No, it'll be fine. No need. Just like we sell the bulb planters there, or just a spade. Just dig a small little hole, put in your bulb, and leave it do its own thing.
Okay, excellent. Okay.
And I suppose like that then, when you're planting bulbs, you can go formal or informal. So say, for example, you had tulips, and you can even see by looking at them, they're straight up, they're very elegant is the word, Alan is right. So they're actually nice in straight rows or in beds all together. The likes of the daffodils then, you can actually just get a handful of them, throw them on the ground, and plant them wherever they fall.
Because we're always talking about it every single spring, and you just see that burst where they're all together, and it looks stunning.
Oh, stunning. But like that now, don't plant one or twos of anything. You'd want to be planting 10s, 15s, 20s of the same variety, and put them in clumps together.
And there's a good few in the bag, Trish,
there
as
is,
well.
like that now we have packs, and then we have bags, and we also have 25 kg bags then as well. If you're planting large amounts, it's about 400 in a bag.
Right.
Again, all different varieties. With the tulips, I'll start off first now. You can get mixed tulips, but with the tulips you can get dwarf ones and you can get tall ones. So depending on your conditions, if you've got a kind of more of a windy area, go for the smaller ones.
Okay, so they won't be affected as much by the wind.
Exactly, and they won't get flattened down. Again, as I was saying, try and stick to kind of the same colour, or mix maybe two colours together. Don't put an array of colours, because it's too much of a mix and match then, really.
Yeah, okay.
The daffodils come out first.
Yeah.
What I have in my hand anyway, they come out around March, and then you'll follow on then by your tulips. So if you were doing a bed, plant both of them in together, so as the daffodils are dying down, your tulips are coming up in flower.
So you've got a constant
exactly, Now there is a lot earlier there. I'm sure Jer has something there that would be earlier flowering.
So like the snowdrops, the bluebells, they'll be the first two in roughly.
They're always the first sign of spring.
With the snowdrops, like Trish said, all these need to be in a well-drained style. So snowdrops, the bluebells then, they don't like to be in kind of big open spaces. They prefer to be kind of in a woodland setting.
Okay.
Or if you have pots outside the door that are kind of in a shaded, sheltered area.
Or how about around kind of shrubs and stuff? Would that be
fine. Yeah. No, do quite well. But again, they have to be inside in a well-drained soil. They won't perform if there's any bit of water in the soil.
Yeah.
The ones that I love then are the crocus.
Yes, of course.
And with the crocus, then you can put these into the lawn. Because by the time you do your first cut of the lawn, the flower will be gone, so you can literally just mow them over.
Right.
So again, like Trish said there a second ago, it's just throw them up into the air, see where they land.
Just let it where they go.
And you're not going too far.
Would you then just kind of go around, and just kind of maybe
you could do that, but even if you just small little trowel, or just put the trowel into the soil.
Yeah.
Push it forward. Push your bulb in the back of the of the trowel, and that'll be fine. But you don't want to be going too far down. But they're brilliant for early spring colour, and they're brilliant as well for the likes of the bees, because it's the first flower to come, and that gets them to start earlier on in the year.
Yeah. It'll be a lovely surprise, as you said, to just throw them in the lawn,
and just see where they come
up.
Yes,
random.
Exactly. Now you do have to plant them in the lawn.
Oh, of course, that's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I say. Just step on them or whatever like that.
The other one then that we have as well is the alliums. They're stunning when they come into flower. They're later again, so you have your daffodils, you have your tulips, then your allium comes next, and they can come 50 centimeters high, or you can get the Globe Master, which is a meter high. So all the foliage is on the bottom, and they come up in a big stem, and you have a big ball of a flower on the top. And we get them in whites and purples. At the moment we've only got the purple, but the white is due in as well.
So like they will be coming in more and more
Yes,
over
we'll have a lot more
from now on.
selection.
Yeah,
from
so
now
the
on,
25 kilo bags, the 10 kilo bags, they'll all be coming in shortly. Like you wouldn't want to be planting in very, very dry weather. It's going to be hard to dig into the soil, so it might be no harm just to leave a little bit of rain come, leave the ground dampen up, and then plant them.
And then put them in.
Yeah.
And the other beauty then is the daffodil, the tete-a-tete. It's the dwarf daffodil.
Is that what you have there?
That's what I have.
That's
in
what
mine.
you
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, it's fine. Like, they're ideal. I know we've been talking about the ground, but you can also put bulbs in pots or window boxes or tubs or anything like that. And as Jer was saying, the tete-a-tete is a fabulous one. It's a nice little small one, small-headed daffodil as well. So sometimes if you're in an exposed place, they are so hardy. So they're fantastic. And again, you can put in the dwarf mixed tulips, the crocuses, snowdrops. You can mix it then with your winter bedding, what we went through last week, whether you have your pansies, your cyclamens. It just doesn't have to be a pot with bulbs. So you have your bulbs planted, it'll look bare. And to keep that going with colour, you'd add in your winter pansies and your cyclamens and
then,
stuff
as
like
you said,
that.
you're creating that.
Exactly,
Once one
the
dies,
constant
there's the chance
something
of it
coming up.
back up.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
And also
Fantastic.
as well for a bit of fragrance, we've got the hyacinths.
Yes.
Now they're
the beautiful
absolutely
hyacinths,
fabulous.
the blue and the red.
The blue and the red.
Yeah.
And again, now you'd be
Excellent.
planting them like September up until the end of October, November, and they'll flower about February, March. But there's a heaven sent now on them. They are absolutely
And
fabulous.
beautiful. There's yellow crocus over here as well too. Is lovely.
With the hyacinths, you could do a lovely bowl just of one colour,
Yeah.
kind of leading up to Christmas. And you'll have a lovely kind of display kind of for a tabletop or outside the front door. They look absolutely stunning.
Brilliant.
And the other thing is as well, you could, if you have spare pots or bowls at home, you could layer your pots. So like you could first of all put in your tulips and daffodils, put a bit of compost, then do the likes of the snowdrops on the outside.
Oh, nice. So you
and
layer them.
So you layer them, so you'd literally have colour from January, February, all the way through to May.
Fantastic. So lads, now's the time for planning. That is the big thing. Now's the time for planning and plan for your beds come spring, and that's fantastic. Brilliant. And call in, of course. Call in and make sure you see all of the bulbs. Right, the big announcement is now here, because last week on the show we did, of course, ask you all to send in your displays from home. We wanted to see your flower boxes, your window boxes, your gardens, everything that's been going into your garden, and there was a lot of entries. It was fantastic to see, guys, wasn't it?
Great to see all the photographs.
It was beautiful,
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah, brilliant.
fantastic. So we do have a winner. We had 3 prizes, Ger, wasn't it?
Yeah, so with €100, €50 and €30 gift vouchers. So we'll give the honours to yourself, Ellen.
So we'll go in reverse order. So first off, in third place was Magella Moynihan and her lovely wildflowers, guys. It was a beautiful,
was fabulous.
wasn't it?
Yeah, there was yellows and there was pinks, and it was just beautiful. And there was a hebe, an evergreen hebe behind us then as well, and it was just a haven you could see for the bees and the butterflies.
Yeah,
and
and she said that herself.
She did,
you know
yeah.
what
And
I
it's
mean?
just so eye-catching now, and it was fabulous. Fair play to her.
Brilliant. So
Yeah.
well done, Magella. Second place then was Eileen Fleming Courtney, who I'd say has had a lovely place to sit down, Jar, over the last couple of weeks.
The very minute I saw the photo anyway, it was the fern that struck me. It was absolutely stunning. It looked so well, and just the pot of colours around it then. And it just shows you what you can do to a gable end of a wall then as well.
Exactly.
Just to soften it. There was no windows, it was just a nice gable with your planting and your seating. It just looks stunning.
It looks like a nice place to have a cup of tea and
It
relax.
does.
So I'm sure then, well done, Eileen. You've come second. And our winner of the €100 voucher is Eileen Murphy. Now tell us about Eileen's
Eileen
beautiful.
was absolutely fabulous. Now, she sent in a good few photographs, so we were able to get the gist of what her garden was like. With one particular photograph, she had a bed. She had a double flowering stand, a hanging basket stand in the middle of the bed. She had a perennial wallflower, but then in the background you could see the pots, the window boxes. Like, she must spend ages in the garden.
Yeah.
All the deadheading, what we've been on about all year.
She did a great job.
Everything was done.
Yeah,
It
like
was fabulous.
for this time of the year, the petunias looked absolutely stunning.
Brilliant, yeah.
And like Trish said, you could see that she was deadheading and feeding. Like, they just looked absolutely super.
They looked as if they could go on till Christmas.
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah,
they? Really,
fantastic.
yeah.
Well,
So-
there you go. Well,
Yeah.
Eileen, well done. Congratulations. You are the winner of the €100 voucher here from Boyles. And we're going to put up all those 3 winners up on the Facebook page as well, so you can check them out for anybody who's listening to the show here on Radio Kerry. Guys, it's been a brilliant show. Thanks very much for all the tips and all the planning between the grass and, of course, the planting as well too. Thanks again, Trish and Jer. From all of us here at Boyles of Clorglen, that's it. We will talk to you again next week. And until then, happy gardening.